Alrighty, how's it going everybody? 01 of 1, back again. Sorry it's been a while. Life is busy, you know how it is. But I've been working on this, and once again we're playing Satisfactory Plus Mod. So it's the one that makes everything kind of ridiculous and super difficult. And yeah, so I just now managed to get all of the parts needed to unlock the next tiers. So we're gonna go ahead and get these things sent off, I guess. Call that good to go. Alright, so now we have tiers 5 and 6 available, which is gonna be kind of crazy. I've been watching Bed Plays Games videos, because he's also playing the Satisfactory Plus mod, and from what I saw so far, tiers 5 and 6 is going to be ridiculous. And it's going to be interesting for me because I've just completed my basic starter factory, and now I'm going to have to redo everything. So, okay, so quick catch up here. So we've got most of the nodes here tapped. We're pulling 120 resources out per minute, but you can tell by the speed here that we aren't even pulling 60. Like, we don't even need 60 out of these per minute. And there's some of these that I'm not tapping. There's one over there. I don't know if I'm tapping that one or not. I don't think so. This is the building that I just started working on. I think I started on this one yesterday. And this is for all of my slugs. So I've got the slug food down here, and I've got the excess eggs that come down here. So you can see that I've got an overflow of both the yellow and the blue going on right now. I think, honestly, I kind of messed this up a little bit because I did blue, yellow, and purple. But I don't think you can get purple slugs from the blues or the yellows. I think you have to go for like the greens or the whites or something like that, and then maybe you'll get a purple. But the setup is relatively simple. So we've got our egg hatcheries here. If they have the humidity module, like the yellows, the purples, and pretty much anything beyond this, you're going to need a water hookup. The blues don't need it, but I have a water hookup here anyways, just because, in case I want to change it in the future. So your input of slug eggs goes in here, they hatch in here, and then they come out here. And then we've got these guys, if I can jump over the wall. Sir, jump over the wall, please. Thank you. So then we have our slug terrarium, and then this will update based on what slugs you put in there. And then you put them together, they make eggs, and then so on and so forth. They take food. So slugs come out here, they feed into here. This is where the food goes in. This is also where the slugs come in. So if you want to do like 2 different types of slugs, I think you can do that. So smart splitter here, blue slug off to the left, and then overflow goes this way. And then this one is kind of the same, blue, but this time overflow goes over to the right, and any undefines is going to be your yellows, your purples, your whites, your greens are going to go straight. And this is the overflow line up here, so you can see we just got a green slug. Well, that's cool. I wonder if that's gonna... That should be going down here into my little collector, but maybe it's not. I don't know, maybe I've got something else hooked up wrong. But, okay, so then we've got the yellow slug terrarium here, so slugs come out here. They merge onto the line here, and then they feed yellow, overflow, and then food, and then yellow, overflow, and then any undefined goes that way. And then this is the one that I've got set up for purple. And, yeah, so this has got nothing in there right now. And that is because this is calling out the purple with the overflow going forward, food, and then more slugs, and then this is, you know, purple, undefined, and then overflow goes this way. And then after you've got all of your overflow over here, we start going into these. Now these you have to unlock in the MAM. These are what do they call these things? Composters. Yeah, so you got to unlock those with Fix-It farming, which is also part of this mod. And then I've got this one set up to take in excess blue slugs, and then that makes the low energized slug slime. And then I've got this one to take up the yellows, and I've got this one to take up the purples. But like I said, I'm probably going to have to change these up a little bit. And did that? It did not. Okay, so I'm losing a slug, because we got the green one, and it didn't go through where it was supposed to go. So I'm not sure where it went. I don't think it should have gone in here. So yeah, I don't know. I'm losing slugs somehow. But all of the ones should be, so these are the yellows and the whites that you can actually make from the blues and the yellows, should be getting stored here, but they're not. And then, so you put in solid ingredients and then maybe some liquid ingredients over here. It goes to the composter, which, you know, really cool design, by the way. And then you get this stuff coming out this way. So then this is your low energized slug slime, which then goes here and just goes straight under. And it comes up over here. So we can see that going in there and then just gets kind of stored here. So we are slowly building up our slug slime. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but you take this stuff and you pump it into miners and you can get even more efficiency out of them. So maybe I don't know, take these things and put them in a barrel or something and transport them somewhere. I'm not sure yet. But that is sort of set up apart from the fact that I'm losing slugs somehow. Can we get up on the wall, please? Why can we not get up on the wall? Is it, like, why? Seriously, why can't I jump over this wall? I should be able to jump over the wall. Got those things on, right? I should be able to jump up one full block, right? Oh, now it let me. Okay, I don't know. It's being weird. Anyways, so here is the factory. It is rather large. And I showed it to you in the last video, but we'll just go through it real quick again. Not too much has changed up on the top floor, so that's where all of the ores are getting moved over to. And they're all getting processed over here, so you've got the sorters, or is it the crushers first? I think it's the crushers, which then go into the sorters. I did update my bronze and my brass up here a little bit because I was running a little low. And then, how are we doing over here? Slag is okay. I also connected up these 3 lines of slag down below. So that way I'm not just overloading one pipe, it'll just, you know, share into all 3. And then those are all of my, what do you call them? Molten metals going in there, right? I'm having a hard time speaking right now, I'm sorry. So you can see those are all nice and full, which is good. But yeah, so we go into the crushers first, and you get the crushed stuff out of here, which then goes into the sorters. Sorters then separate the stuff, and then once you've got all that in there, then you've got to run it into these guys. So I think these are more sorters. Then what are these things? These are, oh, these are crushers. So then what are these things? Are these also crushers? Okay. I think these are the crushers. Yeah, this is a crusher. Okay. So raw ore goes into the crusher. Okay. So this is our green ores there. So that's like our copper and stuff. So that's our sapphirite. It gets crushed. You get crushed sapphirite, crushed stone. Crushed stone goes off somewhere else, and then the sapphirite goes over here into the sorters. Sorters go through all of the sapphirite in here, split it up into copper here, and then zinc also. You can see that kind of going over there. And then, once you got that done, then you need to collect all of that stuff. So this is all the copper going through here, and it's going up into these guys. And then these are our blast furnaces, which then take the crushed pure metals, sorted metals, however you want to consider it, turns it into molten stuff, and then you collect all the molten stuff. So, basic rundown of all of that stuff. There's a lot going on. It's not the easiest thing in the world to set up, but once it's going and you make sure that your power is pretty good, I mean, you don't really have to worry about it too much. And then over here is our steel production. So we've got our coal. So we'll just fill that up in there. Okay, so I'm manually transporting the coal from way over there by the waterfall, if you guys can see that. So the waterfall area over there. Okay, so then we take in some of, what is it, setmonium, I think? Steartite, yeah. So you take the steartite, and then you sort it, you crush it, or you crush it and then you sort it, and then you blast furnace it, and then you mix that in the blast furnace with the coal, no, crushed iron, into molten iron, okay. And then you have to run it into another one over here, these blast furnaces, which then take in the coal in the air, put it in there with the iron, and then you get molten steel. So lots of stuff, and then this is taking all of the waste steam. So I think this creates waste steam. No, this is slag. Okay, so no. The next process is make the waste steam, and that's where you're taking the molten stuff and you're turning it into bars. That takes water, releases steam. All of that extra steam comes up here, and that gets used as water in our steel production. So we're kind of making use as much as we can. So we don't need to pull as much water from actual lakes and stuff. Okay, so that was a lot. Going really fast, as fast as I can without being too confusing, I suppose. And then we go into here. Okay, so this is my actual steel production over here. So this is our solidifier and cooler. We take the molten steel, mixing it with water, we get steel rods and steam. And then we're doing the same thing over here. This one we're making steel ingots. And then we're making just some steel items over here. And that's... I'll show you how all this thing works, but there's a lot going on here. But yeah, so inside this wall here is our steel works, and in here we are making our steel rods, our steel screws, our steel pipes, our steel beams. We're also making concrete and the reinforced concrete beams. So that's everything that we're making here, and then we've got this whole section here. This is dedicated to our waste processing. So this takes in all of our slag here, and then it turns it into carbon dioxide, the stuff that we use to make concrete. So, or we actually just make concrete out of it. So we mix our cold slag with our crushed stone, we get concrete. And so that's kind of what we're doing to make our concrete. We're not actually, you know, using any specific ores to do it. And then, so all of our cold slag comes out here. Our sulfur goes over into here where it gets synced. So I've got a ton of sulfur that I have no idea what to do with. And then up here, we're not actually using it, but crushed stone goes up there. And then I've got the crushed stone being crushed again, which then makes sand. And then the sand is just being kind of collected over in here, where we can use it for other processes if we need to. So that is our waste processing all through here. Those two machines, solidifiers and coolers, are making our brass and bronze, and then they're just kind of getting moved up there. Then all of these solidifiers and coolers are taking all of the molten metals that we're making up there and turning it into actual bars. As you can see here, I believe this is lead. Yeah, lead, right? Yeah. So we take the molten lead, take in some water, we get the lead ingots, and we also get steam. So that's pretty much what all of this is. This is just making bars, and it's a ton. These ones actually are supposed to take in magnesium, but we can't actually make magnesium bars, so they're just kind of sitting there not doing anything. But down there is where we start, and then we've got these ones, and then we've got all of these ones. Okay, our slag is coming down here, getting transported under here, where it then comes up over there. Alright, and then we've got all of this over here. So what happens here is all of our bars are going up into the next floor up, getting collected and then being brought down here to look kind of like a waterfall. So this is all of our metal bars coming down. You can see how fast we're using all the stuff. So that is our brass, that's our bronze, that's copper, tin, I think, iron, zinc, lead, and then these two are unused. So these would be where the magnesium would have gone through, but once again, we don't have that. So all that's kind of going through here. So not only do we have a waterfall of bars, we also have a stream or a river of bars. And then once you get all of these things, they go under the floor here, and they all get kind of moved over here, so you can kind of see them all moving. And then they go into this huge thing here, which is what sets up all of our production. So we take all of our bars and we move them over into here, so that way we can tap off of any of these depending on what we need. And yeah, then we can actually start our production. So this is our iron works. In here we're making our iron rods, iron plates, iron wire, iron sheets, our screws, our reinforced iron plates, and our what are those things called again? Just modular frames. I think that's what those are called. So if we want to see how that is all going here, so because everything in here is just made with iron, we're pulling off of all three lines of iron, which are those three there, coming down here, and then we're kind of combining them and then having that feed all of our stuff. So this is just a bunch of constructors down here. Some of them are 2-stage, most of them are 1-stage. So our 2-stage stuff is down there. So first stage turns it into like a plate, and then the second stage turns it into a sheet. For screws, first stage is rod, second stage is screws. For wire, first stage is rods, and then wire comes out there. And then we take all that stuff and we move it all up there where we have our advanced processing. So we head up here to the top floor, and then this is taking all of our stuff, splitting off what we need. So this is making our modular frames, and then some of those modular frames are being, wait, no, sorry. These ones are the reinforced iron plates, and then some of those are being used to make the modular frames. And then everything is getting collected, so there's like a reinforced iron plate over there, and everything else is going over there, and then that is going up onto there, where it then sort of congregates, and then this is all just moved on a single line, and then we'll split it later. So I've repeated that process quite a few times. So this is our copper works, where we are making these items. And then we've got our tin and zinc works over here, where we're making all of our tin and zinc stuff. And then here is our lead works, where we're making our lead items. So that's those three. And then here we start getting to the more specialized stuff. So this is our bronze works and what we're making in this little group. And then we have our brass works. So we're making brass plates and also the belts for, I think these are tier 3 belts. So we're making those in here. And then over here we're making our smart plating. Over here we're doing all of our motors. So that's our rotors, our stators, and our motors. So that's all being done there. And then over here is our space elevator parts, along with some brass pipes, because we needed those anyways. And then once again, all of this stuff is going up and getting collected up on that floor up in there. So I suppose we can go and take a look. So what happens is all of that gets moved and sorted up there, and it comes down here in like these little waterfall type things, so you can see all of the items that we're making. And then it all just goes down to where it needs to go. And then we've got our central hub, I guess, and this is kind of where everything is collected. So we've got all of our stuff. So we've got concrete encased beams, steel rods, steel screws, steel pipes, and it just goes all the way around here. Every single one of these things is full. I mean, not full, like all the way full. I mean, most of them are full, but like, I don't know. Is that full? Yeah, that's full. Is this full? That's full. Okay, so maybe most of these things are full. Okay, so these ones aren't full, but they're collecting here if I need them. And then we're also making glass. Now, glass is actually a byproduct of our sorting and our crushing. So the glass is actually getting made up there and then transported down in those lines right there. So that one, the one closest to me right there. And that just goes over here and then just feeds directly in, so you can see our glass coming down. So that is how we're making our glass. And then we also have another row up here because I didn't have enough storage. So then we've got our more advanced parts. So that's our conveyor belt Mark III, smart plating, motors, and we've got, like, this is full, right? Like, we're making a lot of stuff. Like, this is a ton of motors. Stators, I had to use like 1,000 of those just to unlock tiers 5 and 6. So that's where most of those went. Rotors have been building up, so that's good. Our automated wiring, I had to use, I think, 500 of that. Or was it 250? I don't know, one of the two. But yeah, so those are building up again, which is good. Those are full. And then this stuff, I had to use up 1,000 of those, I think. So that's building up now as well. Okay, and then I also have some battery storage up here. Those are all fully charged, so that way in case something does go wrong with the power, these should be able to supply the entire factory here. And then we'll take a look up here at the top floor. Alright, so this is basically where everything gets kind of collected. And then I also have some solar panels up here as well. I need to continue building these things. Why is this missing that? I don't know, it's weird. And why did I just like slide? That was weird. Anyways, so I've got that, and that's being fed into here too. I can turn this off if I need to. But yeah, so that's additional power generation. I'm gonna end up filling up this entire thing with solar. But I want to wait until I unlock like the higher tier stuff, because these are kind of a pain to place. So yeah, And then they're just like this little thing right here, so you can fit 4 of these on a single foundation. That's kind of how all that works. And then I've got my projector thing here for making our blueprints. So that is there if I need it. This was a nice big open space, so I figured it'd be a good place for it. And then this is just kind of left open to the sky, and we've got plenty of room over there, over there for additional solar. So we're literally gonna coat this entire roof with solar. And then yeah. And so that's our bars going all the way around. And then it actually ends kind of over here, and I actually have to do a little bit more work with those because they just kind of end right there. But I want to either sink those, like all of the excess that I'm making, or have them transported to the next base, which, you know, maybe I don't want to do all of the stuff I did up there. So maybe we'll just transport all our extra stuff and just kind of use it there. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but I'm making more bars that I'm actually using, unless it comes to like the brass and the bronze, in which case I'm using about as much as I'm making, so that's good. And yeah, so that is the base. This is basically done, except for the few things that I mentioned there. This is our farming. So we're collecting dirt. You can kind of see this going in like over there, over to here. And then we're getting our seeds out of here. We're growing the seeds, putting that over into the cookers, and then that's where we're making our slug food. Also our bio whatever capsule things are also over there. And then this dirt is actually coming in from way the hell over there. So that was a pretty long line to put in, but it's there, it's done. And then you can see over here we've got a hypertube going over to our Caterium, which is over there, and that continues. There's another hypertube going all the way over to the coal area over there. And then we've also got another hypertube set up. You can kind of see it right there, going over to our first power plant, which is using our bio water coming over there from the geyser area. So the bio water is going over there and it's getting brought down into here and then transferred into biomass, which is then being burned for fuel. And then over there is our hypertube continuing over to the coal area up there, where we have another power station, and then also where I'm grabbing my extra coal for the steel production over there. So that's what I got so far. This base is relatively done. The next base I'm going to be making is probably going to be over there because I want to make use of the coal that's already over there because I'm going to need some additional steel stuff. And I can pull the oil that is kind of in the valley area over there. I can pull some of that over into here and do some oil production as well. But with that being said, that was a long introduction, I guess. So I still got to work on our little slug area over here. It is a work in progress. Is that going to push me off? Yep, that's going to hurt. Oh well. Okay, so let's see what kind of craziness we've got in our tiers 5 and 6. I think I've got everything unlocked. Oh. I could have had these things this entire time. Okay, let me unlock that. So I need 2,000 steel rods and 1,000 brass pipes. Okay. Okay, so steel rods, and I need 2,000 of them. Okay, so that's one. Oh, that is way too many. Sorry. Okay, so we'll just burn that so I have nothing here. Okay, so we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and those are refilling, which is good. And then we need our brass pipes, which are up here. And we need 1,000 of those. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that is that. Dude, I could have had tier 2 pipes this entire time. It's ridiculous. But it's fine. Like, everything is built here with the tier 1 pipes, and everything is working for the most part, so I'm not really going to worry too much about it. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this guy unlocked, and we'll take a look at our next stuff. There we go. So that is our pipeline engineering Mark II, which we probably are going to need for our oil production anyways. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got. Okay. So this I can unlock right away. Fluid and gas energy. Okay, so this is... so we had our biomass heater, and then we upgraded to our coal heater. No, this is a gas heater. And then solution heater. Interesting. Liquid carbon-based fuel. So I'm guessing if we take our coal and we mix it with some stuff, we can make it some sort of a slurry to put in here. Oh, and we got our... yes, this is good. So this is our... wait, is it? Wait, no. No, this goes on top of these. Okay. So we still don't have our next generators yet. So we're still working on the Mark 1s. At least I think it's Mark 1. Okay, so we've got that new stuff here. Okay, so crude oil, I already know where to find that. Okay, so there's refined hydrocarbons. Okay, so I think these are the things that we can burn in our solution heaters. We'll probably mix it with water or something like that. I don't know how it's going to work. Oil extractors, chemical reactors. Interesting. Weaver, I already have that unlocked. So that's probably just going to unlock some new stuff. We have our hydrocarbons, our refined hydrocarbons. Okay, interesting. And then we have our petroleum coke, which I believe can also be used as coal, if I need it. Purified crude oil. Interesting. So we'll have our regular crude oil and then our purified crude oil. Interesting. And then we can also make plastics from here. Okay, then we went over that. Then we have our bigger truck that we can use if we want to. Okay, then we have our manufacturer. Okay, I'm probably going to have to use a lot of those things. Heavy modular frames, computer circuit boards, molten solder. And then solder wire. Interesting. So solder, I believe, is based on lead and some other metal mixed together, so that'll be interesting to see what I need to make that. We have our alternative fluid transport. Okay, so this is where we can start putting stuff into tanks, barrels, and canisters. Cryo tank, interesting. And a heat tank. Really? That is interesting. And then AI fluid packer, interesting. Is that... note, for optimal performance with no chance of rebellion, keep the machine busy. That's funny. Okay, and then we have our bigger fluid tanks, which is good. And then all of our different storage mediums. Okay. Then we have our advanced belts. So this is going to be a part, and then that will be used to make the Mark IV belts. Interesting. Okay. And solar energy. Okay, so these are the Mark IIs. So this is kind of what I want to use in place of the Mark Is. Yeah, I'm just reading the additional kind of notes here. Interesting. Okay, what else do we have? And monorail. Okay, so that's pretty basic. I actually tend not to use trains. Like, I would prefer to just like run belts, because belts you can always determine like how much is there. You never have to worry about a train going off the rails somewhere. So like if you have a train that's transporting, let's say, nuclear stuff, and it goes off or whatever, or it's another train or something happens and it just doesn't arrive, you got a big problem with your nuclear. Whereas if it's with belts, you can always count on that belt and everything that's being transported by the belt to get there in the proportion or speed or rate that you actually need. So my own personal preference, you know, you do you. I might use it for less important things, but if it is for important things, I'm probably going to use belts. Okay, and then we have our tiers. What is this? Invar plates? Okay, interesting. It's going to require a lot of fuel. Okay. Then we have advanced sorting. What is this? Solder rod. Interesting. Yeah, so that's going to allow us to start doing our sulfur stuff. Used for cleaning crystals. Interesting. So this will be used with our quartz to do something. Let's see. Yeah, so that's all pretty basic. But this is going to require me pretty much redoing everything. So like if I took apart my current base and redid it for the advanced sorting, like everything would have to come out and be redone. So that's why I'm just going to make another base. And then we have our advanced ore processing. Okay, so we have an ore washer. Interesting. So this will probably be used in with the advanced sorting to make, you know, even purer stuff. So purified iron, cobalt, nickel. Interesting. Oxyhydrogen? Interesting. Methane apparently has a work in progress description, so that's interesting. And then oxygen we can transport. I think we could already transport oxygen. Oh, wait, no. We can transport air. Oxygen is like air is comprised of oxygen, nitrogen, and a bunch of other stuff. Whereas oxygen is just, you know, straight up oxygen. Okay, so then Invar is an alloy. Okay, interesting. So we can make molten nickel, interesting. Molten cobalt, molten Invar. So these are going to be our alloys. And then we got to make more stuff out of those. Okay, here we go. So this is our new stuff. So high voltage generator, definitely one. Wow, that's 400 megawatts of power for one of those. Dude, that's a lot. Like I think my current power stations use 6 generators. So that'll be 2.4 gigawatts of power just from my existing ones. That's interesting. And there's our next parts there, our pipeline engineering Mark III. Okay. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting. But we'll start off with the oil refining. So that'll be our next milestone once the pod comes back. And I'm going to start working on that. And I don't know, I'll give you an update when I got one. All right, that's all I got. Hopefully you enjoyed. And if you did, hopefully join for the next one. But until then, have a good one.